everybody. Welcome.
Welcome back to Question the Answer.
Yeah. We don't have any spooky stories for you today, but I mean, they're kind of like spooky stories.
The real world is quite spooky. So
and getting even
it's
spookier.
still on trend. We have some quick updates just from previous
All right, go for it,
previous
Megan. Let's
topics.
hear it.
So one, I don't know if anyone remembers when we spoke about Jamal Bowman and his accidental pull of the fire alarm.
That he thought was a door.
That he was a total accident. Nothing was marked correctly.
What is your update? Because I just read a story today, too.
Well, I read that he was charged with a misdemeanor.
Because he did a plea deal because he's a Democrat, so the rules are different for him, so he gets off on this, even though there's a big red sign that says fire alarm.
Well, nothing's going to happen to him. I mean, we know that. But... yeah, he was charged with a misdemeanor for triggering a fire alarm as lawmakers rushed to pass the bill from preventing the government shutdown.
Is that the exact wording in the
in the one article I saw? It's a Fox News article.
Did he at least admit to doing this?
That I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, he didn't really have to. He's on film.
He's on film, but I think he's sticking to his story that it was an accident.
It's kind of like Lauren Boebert saying she didn't vape.
Right,
and
correct.
It was the fog
the smoke's like coming out of her mouth. Yeah, I think he's sticking to his story, and you know, we all saw the marked area, and he's claiming he thought that was for the door.
So he gets a misdemeanor, and all the January 6 people get to rot their asses in jail.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Seems fair, doesn't it?
Cool. It's because you're different, them different. So
exactly.
I think he did have to pay a $1,000 fine.
Oh, okay.
Boo-hoo.
Okay.
You mean of our taxpayer dollars?
Right. They just took it out of the fund.
You mean we paid a $1,000 fine? Okay.
You're welcome, Jamal. As a not so funny topic, right now there's currently a mass shooter on the loose, Robert Card. There was a mass shooting in Maine. He killed 18 victims and wounded 13 others across 2 locations earlier this week. He is still at large. They have not found him.
They've literally put the state under lockdown.
Correct. But now I think there's concern that he's going to cross the border because...
probably.
I think Maine is only 3.5 miles away from Canada. And then there's also other entries through Quebec, I believe, and... somewhere else. So that's a huge concern. So everyone's going to look out for that. But at this point, we have not found this person. So do we even know if he's in Maine still?
No, the way they're kind of, the police are talking in the press conferences is I think they believe that he has left the state. This is bizarre. So, Maine doesn't have red flag laws. They have what's called yellow flag laws. But this person, even in the press conferences when they were detailing that this person had a mental health issue and was not admitted, but he was committed to a mental health facility for 2 weeks in the summer because he was hearing voices.
Through his hearing aid, right?
What? Okay. Oh, I didn't know about it.
Okay, so I read so yes, I knew that he was committed. He had said, at least from a couple articles I read, that he intended or wanted to shoot up a place, shoot people. Was released. He's following through on what he said. And then his sister has spoken out, and I believe it was a Breitbart article I read where she was saying he had recently, within like a few weeks ago, gotten hearing aids because he was having hearing loss. And he was claiming that he was hearing voices through his hearing aid of people talking about him. And so does that sound normal to you? No.
No, that sounds like a severe mental health issue.
Correct.
So let me ask you this question. Once again, a mass shooting incident, all the freaking signs are there and nobody does anything.
We talked about this.
So those yellow flag laws basically state that if anyone is, committed mentally, then they have to have their firearms possession taken away from them. That is what a yellow flag law is. Nobody did anything after he was released. Not to mention, this is a firearms instructor.
Correct.
So they're just like, oh, you've heard some voices, take some pills, go back to your guns and live your life. Are we kidding?
This is just another example of the failure of our system and how we have once again failed these people and have not focused truly on the issue of mental health.
Well, because now you have the same culprits coming out and being like, I
don't want to hear about the guns. I don't want to hear about the guns. That is not the problem. You have a man who is an Army reservist, so military training, on the loose. Do you think if one of those bystanders or victims had a gun, he'd still be standing? Probably not.
Yeah, I bet you the folks in Maine probably all wish they owned a gun right now.
Exactly.
If that individual
and we want to talk about
home.
gun laws. I'm sorry, you're missing the point.
Well, you can talk about guns and gun laws all you want. The problem is we're not enforcing the ones we have. We're not doing anything with the ones we've put into place. So and continue to once again just punish the law-abiding citizen. This is infuriating. I'm very, very confused over how this man gets committed, not admitted, meaning it was involuntary, and then is just set free to go home to all of his guns. What planet is this okay?
I mean, and did you see the images of
victims.
him and with his AR-15, I think it was? I mean, it's terrifying. It's horrible. The fact that we have not caught this guy is scary. And who knows what he's capable of. And the thing that's even scarier is, one, obviously he has committed a huge crime. He's done a mass shooting. But unlike other typical mass shootings where they're either one caught or they kill themselves, this guy is still finding a will to live and go on. So it's like, what else is he going to do?
I wish we could capture him and study him. My guess is he's a severe schizophrenic. Just as a side note, I was talking to a teacher, and she was. I was like, "Hey, how'd your day go?" And she was like, "Oh, it was good. We had active shooter drills today." Mm-hmm. I'm like, these poor children. Like, we had fire drills, which
they do that now.
It was the best day ever because you just got out of whatever class you were in. And no fire was really ever going to happen in a school. Well, I don't know, maybe
in cafeteria toaster or something.
Right. I mean, now they have to do fire drills and these things called active shooter drills.
Yes, they do that in all schools now.
It's
I
really
believe.
sad.
And it's even sadder because obviously, like in the younger age groups, they don't. Obviously, they're not telling kids this is for an active shooter drill. They make up a reason why they're doing that.
What is the reason? Hide and seek?
Yeah, something about hiding or just making sure this if there was ever an emergency, like everybody's safe.
If Bigfoot came through?
If Bigfoot, they try to make it not scary, right? Because you don't want to traumatize kids. But in this day and age, you have to do it, which is sad. And it's scary. This is why I just feel like, why don't we just all homeschool at this point?
Now, there's been numerous studies that these folks, they're looking for some type of, like, not glamour's not the right word, but they're looking for some type of, like, fame when it comes to these mass shootings. So I think you and I should make a pact to never mention these people's names and to never show their pictures, because I don't care who the individual is. Evil is evil. And there's been numerous studies that show that this is why they do what they do. They're trying to copycat someone else. But I think you and I should make a pact, like, moving forward.
I'm good with that.
That we don't really highlight who these people are. We just highlight the facts behind the case and how sick these situations unfold.
I think at the end of the day, and I need to correct myself too, I said that I think it's Lewiston is about, I said 3.5 miles. It's 3.5 hours away from Canada. I knew when I said, I'm like, that's
like a hop, skip, and a jump.
That's very close.
You wanted to do a retraction?
But still, it's close. So I think the border is a concern. And obviously he's trying to escape. He's trying to.
Well, not to mention, it's not like Rochester, New York, where we're very, like, densely populated. This is Maine. There's, like, forests and lakes. And, I mean, it's wide and it's very much spread apart. But my guess is he's left. And you can just tell from the press conferences coming from the police is that I feel like they know he's left. Now, Pennsylvania just got involved because they were involved in something where they had to shut down their own borders to catch someone before. So they're actually helping Maine with this now to.
I mean, it's got to be an all hands on deck situation at this point.
Yeah, the guy's walking around with guns and he's hearing people. And
I think last night,
people.
The FBI went to his most recent known address and did a raid there. Obviously, he wasn't there.
Let me guess, they found a lot of guns.
They found guns. Oh. They found, I think, his computer, or they were searching for his computer, any form of information they could gather. I don't know what has come of that yet. I just know that happened yesterday. So, I don't know. It's horrific.
What at 40 years old causes you to walk into a public domain and kill people for no reason? He went to a bowling alley. People are there with their children and their
night,
families.
I think. Yeah. Yes.
And then goes to a bar and does the same thing.
And I think a Walmart, too. Didn't he go to a Walmart?
I only know 2 places. There could have been a third.
I think there was the shootings at the 2 places, but then I think he might have been seen like near a Walmart as well.
Crazy.
Anyway, it's horrible. I feel terrible for these victims and the families. I'm hoping they catch this guy like now.
I will tell you something that made me feel better yesterday was I went and visited a school. It's called Bosie's here in Rochester, New York. It's in Spencerport. Beautiful school. And they do they teach kids the trades, whether it's cosmetology, carpentry, HVAC, and plumbing. And the security to get into this building was intense. The security guard out front already knew we were coming and said, "Hi, are you so-and-so and so-and-so?" And we were like, yeah. And she was like, "All right, come with me." She walks us through one sets of doors. And then she points to the gentleman at the window and she goes, "Please go check in with the gentleman at the window." And he goes, I need your driver's license. He makes a copy of our driver's license. He already has the person I'm with in their system because he had been there before for a previous meeting. And she prints us out a sticker of our driver's license with our picture on it. Then has to unlock the door to let us into the school, where then we're taken by faculty members. I walked in and I said, "Congratulations, you guys. This is probably one of the best secured schools I've seen in a long time." That made me feel really good on behalf of those children.
I think today, in today's world, every single school should be like that. Mm-hmm. No questions asked.
And as we're walking around the school, there's security guards everywhere. Or ROIs, or resource officers, ROs. Everywhere. Like, there's nothing happening at this school.
Yeah.
They're protected, those kids.
And that as it should be. And
I said to myself, why isn't every school now set up like this? Who's walking into that school trying to commit a crime?
So I know for ours, it's kind of similar. So you have to buzz to even get through the entryway to the school, where you first talk with who was ever at the front desk. There's another set of doors that are also locked. They have to let you in through those doors. They have to buzz you in. So you can't just walk into the front door and you're in the school.
I mean, you remember when you and I were going to school?
Come on in.
Yeah, everyone.
I think they would leave the doors open.
That's right.
You know, on a warm day, you have the door open. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
I mean, they were very small schools, but you just can't do that anymore. And it's sad.
It's depressing.
So there will be obviously a lot more updates.
I wonder when they'll catch this guy. Hopefully soon, before he does more damage.
Exactly. So more to come. I had another interesting update. So we've talked about our pals at Bud Light.
Oh, I couldn't believe this.
I know. So Dana
White,
I was a little shocked. So Dana White, who is the UFC president and CEO, just this week announced that he signed a 6-year contract, $100 million contract with Bud Light as their main sponsor.
I wonder if these two know each other personally, and Anheuser-Busch walked in and was like, "We really need you to save our ass right now."
So I have a nice little clip of Dana White speaking about why he decided to do that. I guess.
This is a guy? Oh, okay.
Yes, it's a man.
I didn't know there was a gender neutral thing.
Is this a strong message from Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light that we've heard you loud and clear and we're getting back on track? Anyway, here with more on all of this brand new partnership is UFC President, CEO Dana White is with us. So I had you on my radio show today. Been on radio 30 plus years, been here, I'm in my 28th year at Fox. And, what's interesting to me is I refuse to call for boycotts, firings, cancellations, any of this stuff. I'm against all of it. I thought it was stupid of Budweiser or Bud Light to get into that controversy. Just dumb. And I have no idea why they waded into those waters. But my fear from the beginning was not the person that made the dumb decision or the people that made the dumb decision. When I saw this taking hold, I was concerned about the people that work for Bud Light. Those are high-paying career jobs. And I said that publicly. And I'm hoping, everybody knows who you are, Dana. No holds barred, kick ass, take no prisoners. I don't give an Adam Schiff or in anybody's face. So they purposely went with you. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me start with, they were the first beer company that we really did business with. They're our first real big sponsor when we were getting started. And now we're back with them. And going into this deal, I know all the controversy and everything else, but for myself, going into a long-term deal with another sponsor, I want to be with somebody that I'm actually aligned with. And I know people were upset with what they did, but I'm looking at all the good things that they do. They employ 65,000 Americans. They have thousands of vets that work for them. They spend $700 million a year with U.S. farmers using their crops to make their products, and many, many other great things that Anheuser-Busch has done in this country. And those are the things that I'm focused on. When I look at a long-term sponsor that's going to be, we're going to do a 6-year deal here. I want to be with somebody that I'm aligned with. All those things that I just mentioned to you are what I'm all about. And not to mention, they have this thing called Folds of Honor. I'm very big into law enforcement and military. And over the last, I don't know how many years, they've spent like $45 million taking care of, these servicemen and first responders who have died, taking care of their families, scholarships for their kids and things like that. So I am very aligned with Anheuser-Busch.
So interesting. And it's like, there's been a lot of comments coming out from fans or people that follow the UFC saying, you're a sellout. Everybody just wants to pay out the money. And it's like, I see both sides. Does everybody have a price? Or does everyone deserve a second chance?
Okay, so everyone loves a comeback man or a comeback boy, whatever that expression is. If a company makes a bad decision, they deserve to reap those consequences. When a company makes a good decision, they should also reap those consequences. This, in my opinion, aligns with their customer base. This was never a personal thing for me. It was more of a business decision. Why would a business get involved into a conversation they don't belong in and that doesn't align with their consumer? This guy, Mr. Dana White, is somebody that aligns with their consumer. This is a good decision.
And they've been in partnership before.
You can't just hold a grudge against a company. I mean, he's right. They do a lot of good things. I think the woman who made that other marketing decision deserves to lose her job over it because the company lost money over it. Yeah. Now, this is something that will help them. So whoever made this decision should be given the accolades they agree with. Once again, everyone likes a comeback man. So great. Good job for you, Bud Light.
I truly think Bud Light...
Still not going to drink you, but whatever. Great. This was a better decision for marketing and what aligns with their consumer.
They messed up, and they did reap those consequences.
Yeah.
Very loud and clear. I'm thinking they heard the message, and I really don't, unless you're just really dumb, but I don't think they're ever going to do that again. So I'm hoping they take this opportunity and just stick to what they're good at.
And to answer your question, Meghan, everybody deserves a second chance.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Everybody deserves a second chance. So, AJ, I'm curious about your opinion on it.
Yeah, well, I'm biting my tongue here. You know what? I get it. Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch, they've done a lot of great things over the years. And that there's no doubt about that. It was just a very stupid decision that they made to get into these waters. So yeah, Dana White, this is about, he's doing the right thing as far as he's concerned. I get it. He's also taking a lot of money. Budweiser's throwing a lot of money at him.
Well, that's what business
is,
money.
Budweiser threw a lot of money at the NFL. They're throwing a lot of money at auto racing. They're doing it to save their company. And here's the thing. I'm a beer drinker. I have never liked Budweiser, but hey, I know a lot of people do. A lot of people stopped drinking their product and have gone on to other product. So their biggest challenge now
getting
is
them back.
Please forgive us and also come back to our crappy beer.
Right.
Because now we're sticking with men who fight each other.
So they've got a long road to hoe. But I don't begrudge Dana White for doing this. I think the company hopefully has learned its lesson to stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And no one was asking for throwing out support to a transgender to make a statement, like Target has suffered, like Victoria's Secret has suffered, like many other companies have suffered. Stay in your lane and don't try to normalize a lot of other stuff that most people will look at and go, wait a minute.
And push it in your face.
That's right.
If you want to give to charity, if companies want to give to organizations as they please, fine. But we don't need to plaster it on billboards, on advertisements, on bathing suits that you can tuck yourself into. We don't need that.
Anheuser-Busch is lucky that they have the base, the foundation, and the money to recover from a marketing decision of
Very
this.
true.
They are.
So not all companies get that cushion. All right, listen, a lot of companies go out of business because they don't make the right decisions. This company made a bad decision, but had the cushion to. I don't know if they're coming back from it yet, but eventually they will. And they've lost a lot of customers, but what they need to do is focus on the new customers that they can bring in. So, and that's why Dana White's here, is because he's a big, tough man. Let's bring him in. Let's see if we can get people that like Dan White to drink our beer. I mean, it's all a game in marketing. It's literally a numbers game. So, Anheuser-Busch, congratulations on a good decision.
Give Dana White a hug because
give him
he's
a big
helping
hug.
you out.
But you're right.
Time will tell.
They're throwing a lot of money everywhere, trying to, just trying to get their reputation back to where it was.
And you're right. The ones who really suffered were their employees,
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
the general workforce,
Yes.
who had no say in these decisions, and like they do in most companies, they have no say.
Yeah, you're just making
in
a
what your
paycheck for your
marketing
family.
department will do, because those are driven by corporate. But at the end of the day, the average Joe and Jane got stiffed because of a decision made by corporate headshots.
I've never tried Bud Light. I don't drink beer.
I don't like
I can't
beer.
get it
I mean,
down.
I've tried it like back in college, and I was like, no.
I
not for me.
was the college girl that walked around with my own wine spritzer because I could not
You would.
get beer down.
I couldn't either.
I think beer is the most disgusting tasting thing on the planet. I know I'm a weirdo when I say that.
I agree. I don't drink beer. I
Wine
can't
or
do it.
alcohol, give it to me. I can't even beer. The smell of it makes you bloated.
We should do
I couldn't do it.
a taste test one day.
Are we allowed to do that, Joel? Can we just bring in like alcohol and want to do a gummy taste test too?
No,
You can send you home to get your kids off the bus.
I'll be Brit dancing with knives.
I think our viewers would love to. I know I would love to see.
I
that.
mean, I'm either going to be asleep or I'm going to be on rock gone mad. There's no in between.
We'll put you on rock on, man.
The only last little update, and then we're going to get to the topic that everybody wants to know. After about 3.5 weeks, there's been a new House Speaker announced. Finally,
Never heard of this guy.
Johnson, Michael Jordan. Mike Johnson.
I don't think Mike Jordan knows. Michael
He's not
Jordan
aware
knows.
yet.
Yeah. Who is this guy? He
So,
looks nice.
He looks nice. I agree. I didn't know too much about him either.
Nice.
He's been around for quite some time. So he's 51 years old. He's married from
he looks good
Louisiana.
for 51.
He looks young.
Yeah.
He's from Louisiana. He's got 4 children.
I just got so bored with this. I couldn't even watch. I couldn't even listen.
It's like they
I
made
was
the
so,
announcement. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot we didn't have a speaker.
I'm so over it. Like yeah.
So he served as vice chairman of the House Republican Conference. He's been a member of Congress for 7 years. This is his 4th term, I believe. He has consistently voted against Ukraine aid, except for the very first bill. He's pro-life. He's been actively involved with the investigation into Biden and wants to bring forth justice for his crimes. He won his congressional seat with the largest margin of victory in his region, which has happened in more than 50 years. But it's funny. So the Republicans, obviously, this was a great announcement. It seemed everyone was very happy and united on this decision. But when I was starting to look at articles and even just see things on social media, more from the left wing
Oh,
side.
he's already been labeled as mega MAGA.
Oh, so I
Mega
found
MAGA.
this fun little clip that just all the different media stations saying basically the same things about this guy. Already, like the second he was announced.
An election denier.
Election denier.
Election denier.
An election denier.
Election denier.
Election denier.
An election denier.
Election denier.
Election denier.
Election denier.
Election denier.
The Louisiana lawmaker has been a vocal supporter of former President Donald Trump.
The Louisiana lawmaker has been a vocal supporter of former President Donald Trump.
Johnson is a vocal supporter of
Former President Donald Trump.
Johnson is known as a
Vocal supporter of former
President Donald Trump.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't this pathetic? This is our
Yes.
mainstream
Is
media.
there a memo that's set out?
Yeah, they do it.
They have
About
to.
bullet
Because
points.
it's all the same pieces of information. Nothing new. Nothing new from any of these stations or outlets.
And once again,
He
all
supported
about
Trump.
It's all about
he
Trump.
supported Trump, so he's bad. He spoke out about the election. That's all they want to focus on. Nothing else. Oh, and that he's against abortion. That's the other big one that people are like fuming over. Yeah, like it keeps going. It's just
funny how they
control.
can just take different voices and finish the sentence. Does that not
Correct.
say something?
Does that not say something?
It's like, here are your talking points today. Does everyone understand that the news is not those people's original thoughts?
correct.
You understand? You guys know that's not.
Remember Anchorman?
Yeah.
It's Anchorman.
Yellow leather. What is
We're
it?
just reading the prompt.
What is it? Unique New York.
New York.
Unique New
Red
York.
leather, yellow leather. Yeah. So
Once again, it's all about Trump. Oh my God.
I think wasn't he part of Trump's legal team for his impeachments?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know.
Back when he was president, I
don't
think
know.
he was
He's
part
mega
of
mega,
that.
so probably yes.
Yeah. So as people are spiraling, they're spiraling about it. They can't handle it.
Have you ever heard the mainstream media ever talk about the House congressional Democrats led by Pelosi as being extreme left?
No.
Of course not.
As
you know
she's
they
ripping,
are.
yeah, her
As she-
behavior.
With
And
all
she's
their policies.
ripping the. What was
and-
that?
Oh, what was she
that?
ripping?
Well, she was ripping the speech Donald Trump was giving.
For the what address?
Well, State of the Union.
State of a Union
I mean,
address.
Just behind him.
The press is, to me, they're the biggest traitors this country has ever had. And I'll continue to call them traitors. They don't give you it's all from an ideology that they come from. It's like what you're seeing on college campuses now with the war in the Middle
Yes.
East. It's just horrific. At the end of the day, Americans, and I think the younger generation, they have a lot of outlets now to go find their news. They don't have to listen to this dribble coming out of the mainstream media. You have a lot of other sources you can get
Right.
a fair shot at really finding out what the heck's going on from both sides, and then people can make up their decisions. Back in my day, we had 3 or 4 network TV channels, and that was it. And you just got the one. At the end of the day, you didn't think you were getting biased news, but you were. And I think it wasn't quite as bad as it is today because they really ran the whole show. Now they pick their sides.
And it's just, I feel like in general, like there's so much misinformation, but it's so easy to believe it. Like even with the mass shooter, there was misinformation coming out about him, but you wouldn't know it.
We are so divided as a people that this is what I believe. This is kind of what we want, is we want our side and we want it all the time and we don't want to hear the other side. I think that I'm just as guilty as ever. I don't even want to. I used to listen to CNN. I can't even listen to it anymore because all they say is the same thing over and over.
Well,
and
you
over
watched
and over
one,
and
you've
over
watched
again.
them all. Yeah.
I mean, it's just all spewing hate and negativity towards one particular individual. Like, do we not have anything else to talk about?
Well, we do. We just don't focus on that as much.
I think that I think you're right, AJ. I believe that if young people today if we can just teach them to make their own decisions on all of the information rather than just looking at a snippet of the information, then it'll be a lot better. I'm watching this documentary called Convicting a Murderer. The last episode was just on last night. I didn't get to finish it, but it's this documentary to clear up what making a murderer screwed up. And Making a Murderer, it was an international push that
I'll never forget when that came out.
That this guy, Stephen Avery, is this like saint who's innocent and didn't commit this murder. And the documentary makers left out all of this information, a lot of the evidence, and people still think this guy's innocent. So, and people's lives were destroyed. The police officers were called corrupt. They were being harassed on a daily basis. I mean, it got really bad. You still have protests till today outside of the Manitowoc courtroom happening over Stephen Avery's innocence. Now, flip to this documentary called Convicting a Murderer. It shows you all of the information you're supposed to be seeing, which makes me believe that documentaries and news organizations, it's all for entertainment.
Well, it just
it's
makes you
not
question
accurate.
everything.
It's fraud. It's bullshit. And people need to start realizing that you've got to go research these things.
It's like people who believe that shows like The Bachelor or Love is Blind
That
are
they're
real.
real?
It's like that's the mentality that I feel like we live in. It's like, well,
the show
is
said
real.
it.
This is real. They really did fall in love. Cut to two months later, oh, we split up. we were never in love. Like it's that mentality where it's like you want to believe everything you see or read or hear.
Why do
and it's
people
not.
want to do that, though? Because it's
everyone wants
easier?
it quick. You want it quick.
Because we're lazy.
We're lazy. No one wants to take the time. And you want to be able to just make your little argument or your little point based on something you read for 5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, not to bleed all over this documentary, but there's this one guy that really believes he's innocent. And he literally believes the fact that police officers killed a woman in a field, took her car, planted it on his property, then planted more blood, somehow managed to sneak into Stephen Avery's house without him even knowing this, steal his blood somehow, and then spread it in the car, and then find these fragments of bones and chop her up and put them in his fire pit, rather than him just committing the crime.
I got to watch it, and then we should do a whole episode on it.
It's so good.
Because I watched the first documentary.
And you can binge it now. So it's so interesting what these documentary people hid from. And that's what everybody on TV and the internet is doing, is they're just giving you a little bit of the information so that you can believe something in a very biased way. And because they know people are lazy and they're not going to go do their own research.
What's it called again?
Convicting a Murder. It's on the Daily Wire. If you need
Candace Owens.
Yep, you need an account to do it. And if you want my account, I'm happy to give it to you. You can just watch it. It's fantastic. It's sad what happened to these people. And then they made out this victim to be like someone who's still alive and fooling everybody. And she lives in Mexico.
Yeah, I got to watch it. You should start with Making a Murderer, which is on Netflix.
Oh, wait. Oh, we can do like a social study on you.
We should.
Well, I think I watched that one.
Okay, good.
But that's where they tried to prove he was innocent, correct?
Yeah, what did you think of that?
It was a long time ago.
Oh.
I was pregnant with Ellie.
Yeah, that
it was a long time.
I stayed up all
ago.
night watching it.
And I think they really made a good case that he was innocent.
Yes. Well, you leave that documentary thinking, oh my gosh, this man is innocent.
Yeah. How could they do this?
They did this to the nephew, and who's like slower. And
watch Convicting a Murder, because it all comes out. The actual interview with Brendan Dassey, the actual actions of Stephen Avery. He had violence against women his whole life.
Really? Okay, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it.
And once again, it's just to the point where you're being fooled every single day. Question your answers, and you're being fooled.
Yeah, question the answer.
You guys got to figure shit out on your own. I'm sorry, but you just do. Speaking of figuring shit out on our own, Britney has written a book.
The topic that really matters.
Who has really cleared everything up for us.
It's Britney, bitch.
Okay, wait. Let me go to this fantastic artirit that I found.
Pull her up.
Oh my God, we totally skipped this, but we can come back to that.
I got one after. Yeah, we can.
So, the Brit Spears has written a book.
She has, and I ordered it. I got it. I got to start it.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Did you think anything less of me?
So, Britney Spears recently released her highly anticipated memoir, The Woman in Me, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Inside, she offers equally heartfelt and heartbreaking insight into her life in the spotlight. So, my guess is if we just kind of go through this, it's going to cover all of your bullet points. Now, I believe this is a book from her point of view. I believe she believes these things happened to her, and this is how it made her feel. Whether this is kind of what was happening in reality, we can all question that. But this is what was happening inside of this woman's head. Not to mention, I can't imagine what it's like to be in the spotlight 24/7 from a little girl, making mistakes, doing normal things that every human does, and having it blow up in front of the whole world.
Just so we're all clear.
Clear us up, Meghan.
Think about this. So she was part of the Mickey Mouse Club. She was young. But Hit Me Baby One More Time, which is really what made her blow up. She was 16 years old when that music video came out.
And she's
16.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No.
And ever since that music video came out and her first album came out, she was the focal point of every news story. People basically hunted her down from morning till night.
One of the things she says is everybody wanted a piece of me.
And she has a song called Piece of Me.
Okay.
But it's true. This girl going under that much scrutiny from, I mean, they were grown male interviewers, and we'll get into all this because I'm already skipping ahead, interviewing basically an 18-year-old asking about her breasts. Because she was 16 when she started, so you're going through puberty, asking her if she's had implants. You're asking, can you imagine that flying today? Please. So It's important to keep these things in mind because no one would come out okay after all that.
Nobody would be in the right mindset living this type of life.
We'd all have shaved heads.
Yeah.
We would, and that's
maybe not, but okay.
I mean, or some other things.
Okay, so number one, so spoiler alert. When discussing her family background and the personality behind the man who raised her father, Jamie Spears, Britney shared an anecdote about her paternal grandfather loved sports and wanted his son to excel in them. So her grandfather seemingly forced her father to regularly exercise past the point of exhaustion.
Well, he didn't come out to be the next David Beckham, but...
Britney said her father would put her brother Brian through the same regimen. And an outside looking in, the model of this holding high expectations surrounded Britney's career as well. You know, her father was very prominent from the beginning in this woman's life. Mm-hmm. Okay, number two. Do you have a reaction to the first one? Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Speaking of common threads in history, Britney also shared that following the tragic loss of a child, her paternal grandfather had her grandmother admitted to a hospital she described as an asylum. According to the memoir, her grandfather's second wife would also be sent to the same facility during her father's formative years. So he grew up seeing women being sent away during periods of heightened emotion.
Well, weird. She was put in a conservatorship for 13 years by her father.
I mean, you have to look at that and say, well, that makes sense.
I do. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know all these
sense.
details.
Maybe that's not the best
but
word
I think
to use.
she had an interesting childhood before she, got famous.
Yeah. And was she always just treated like a child, locked away and controlled?
Sounds like it.
All right, number three. Growing up, Britney said her first introduction to music that sent her a shiver down her spine was from a housekeeper paid to help with laundry. They sang gospel music while working, and the sound was awakening for the pop icon. Gospel music was her first introduction to music. Number four, it's widely known that Britney got her start on the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, but she actually didn't make the cut after her first auditions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Her and Christina Aguilera were told they were too young. So they had to audition several years later, and that's when they were put into the Mickey Mouse Club. You didn't know that?
I did not.
Do you remember her Star Search
Yes.
performance?
And her voice is so much deeper. Like, the way we know her to sing, I don't really feel like that's her real voice.
Who knows? Who knows what her real voice sounds like?
She also talks on her Instagram sometimes with, like, a British accent. It's super weird.
I mean, right, exactly.
So...
All right, number five. Her first kiss with Justin actually happened during a sleepover with cast members. The kids were playing Truth or Dare when the two locked lips on a dare while a Janet Jackson song played in the background.
Oh, the foreshadowing.
I'm sure. Number six. I'm sure you know the starlet's debut single, Baby One More Time. Thank you, Megan. But did not know that her gravelly voice on the track was actually the result of long studio hours and retakes. Her voice was fried, but Britney loved how the end product sounded more mature and sexier.
Remember, she was 16. 16.
I mean, talk about just put yourself in a music box and sing, sing, sing. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you talk a lot, your voice gets raspy. Could you imagine singing over and over again? I feel like she always wanted to be a performer, though, even when she was younger. Like, this was what she wanted to do.
Yes. And I truly think that she would still do it today if these other outside things didn't happen to her. I think her own life and personal things got in the way. And unfortunately, they weren't great.
Number seven, this incredibly random fact, but I was surprised to learn that Big Rob, famous for being the Jonas Brothers' former bodyguard who rapped a verse on Burnin' Up, previously served as the 16-year-old Britney's bodyguard following the release of her first album.
Oh, you go, Big Rob.
It's kind of boring. Number eight, looking back, Britney said the main difference she saw between NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys was how they branded themselves.
Yeah, I heard.
The Backstreet Boys seemed very consciously to passion themselves as the white group, whereas NSYNC aligned themselves with black artists. Do you remember that?
Let's go back in time, okay?
Because I don't remember that at all.
I never looked at NSYNC as like more R&B, soulful, like black artists.
I mean, I never liked NSYNC, but I didn't look at it as black or white.
I loved NSYNC. Hardcore fan.
We know.
Not once was I like, Yeah, they're not white guys. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
All right, number 9, to drive home the point of NSYNC, trying to place themselves within a black culture. Britney recalled a time when when singer Genuine walked past her and Justin suddenly took on a saying that says "faux shiz, faux shiz."
Did you see the audio on? Did you hear the audio on this?
No.
I wonder if you click this. So Michelle Williams is the narrator of the audio version of the book, which how
really?
and why I don't know. I think this is it. So people are posting this all over the internet of Michelle Williams reading that part, and it's like you rapping, basically, is what it is. Oh, I wish they had the clip somewhere. Oh, maybe it's right here.
His band NSYNC was what people back then called so pimp. They were boys, but they loved hip-hop. To me, that's what separated them from the Backstreet Boys, who seemed very consciously to position themselves as a white group. NSYNC hung out with black artists. Sometimes I thought they tried too hard to fit in. One day, Jay and I were in New York, going to parts of town I'd never been to before. Walking our way was a guy with a huge blinged-out medallion. He was flanked by 2 giant security guards. Jay got all excited and said so loud, "Oh yeah, faux shiz, Genuine, what's up, homie?" After Genuine walked away, Felicia did an impression of Jay. "Oh yeah, faux shiz, Genuine." Jay wasn't even embarrassed. He just took it and looked at her like, "Okay, fuck you, Fee."
I'm sorry, but that's gold. People were commenting on Instagram from that clip saying, "Give Michelle Williams her Oscar."
Well, I mean,
but I guess how did Michelle Williams come into play?
Oh,
I need answers on that.
I'd read it.
I need answers on that. How and why?
She called her up and said, "Hey, faux shiz, Michelle.
Read this line, Michelle. I want to see how you do." I know, it's so random.
All right, number 10. I think we're on 10. In 2000, Britney faced her first major criticism after performing Oops, I Did It Again at the Video Music Awards.
I remember this.
Some people apparently felt her outfit was a bit too sexy for children watching. In hindsight, Britney says she was confused about the backlash because, in her words, "I never said I was a role model."
So this was obviously back in 2000, so we're going back a little bit. But what's the difference between what she's wearing here and what we see today?
Well, the difference is time.
This
was really the first raunchy performance from the Mickey Mouse girl.
Yeah,
what I seeing.
Do you remember watching this?
I loved it, but I was
she ripped off the pants and she's in this like nude color.
It's one of my favorite performances by her.
She did a great job.
The dancing was fantastic, but it was raunchy.
Yeah.
And listen, you're naked with sparkles on you. But from her point of view, once again, it's like I never said I wasn't trying to be sexy. Like that's exactly what I was trying to portray. But the world once again was so focused on her and being this like ultimate virgin, which she wasn't.
Well, she wasn't because
we'll get there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 11. During her now iconic 2001 MTV VMA performance,
I remember that too.
She apparently was terrified of that snake. That was also another fantastic performance.
Wouldn't you be?
And though cameras didn't show it during the broadcast, Britney said the snake hissed at her face during mid-performance. Could you imagine if that thing bit her?
I wish we had a clip of this. We'll put one in.
I mean, look at that. That was the biggest Halloween costume back then.
Oh my!
Still
is. No one looks like that.
Not even her,
right
anymore.
But it wasn't even like she even just held that snake. She moved. She was dancing around with that thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember watching that as well, being like, oh my God, that's a real snake that she's holding. And she looks calm and she did not look worried at all.
This is when I was like, I really want to be her.
Yeah, oh, who didn't?
I know.
What girl didn't?
I know. All right, number 12. As her fame grew, the teen also noticed more and more grown men joining the audience, which kind of weirded her out. Really?
Wait a minute. She's performing in that and performing like that, and she's surprised that more grown men are in the audience.
I don't think she should be surprised. What's more shocking is these interviews that she was in, and she was still young, and you have these grown men like openly talking to her and asking her questions about her body.
But not for nothing. When you look at your career and you decide that maybe on voice alone you can't do it. I never thought Britney had a great voice.
No.
Well, what she sold was her body.
Yes,
her image.
And so what do you expect to happen? This is what kills me about celebrities who go, blame everybody else because they're selling themselves as a sex icon. And then when they're treated like a sex icon, they're just so bewildered and, shocked and,
Like we said, AJ, this is not maybe reality. This is more of her in her head.
Yeah, but I think, again, you sell yourself as a certain way. That's what you're going to
But
get.
I think the saddest thing, because yes, I agree. I also think some of it was a little too much from being pushed at her. But like at the end of the day, where's your support system? Like, where's your family? Where's your parents? Because she was still young. Okay, yeah, she was maybe 18, 19, 20. But like, you're not having that backup.
I think they were there, but I think they were driving
not looking out for her and
exactly.
in her best interest.
I think they were driving this because they knew it was selling.
Well,
I mean, even her first debut, she's in a
little
Catholic schoolgirl
with
uniform,
the pigtails,
belly out, short skirt. So
Yeah.
you're
At
right,
16.
AJ. I get it. Okay, so number 12 we have an issue with. We'll tell Britt. We'll DM her. Number 13. In 2002, Britney starred in Shonda Rhimes and Tamara Davis's film Crossroads. Never seen it.
What?
Yeah. And her commitment went beyond method acting. She completely lost herself in the character and didn't know where the fictional Lucy Wagner ended, and she began. Reality felt distorted in a way, and it's for this reason that she was relieved when Rachel McAdams was chosen over herself for the role in Allie in The Notebook.
Okay, two things. One, before this book started circulating, I didn't know she auditioned for The Notebook.
Did you see the audition?
I did. You sent it to me.
It's pretty bad.
Okay, first of all, The Notebook's one of the best movies, and I'm trying to picture Britney in those scenes. It's not going to happen. Crossroad, that makes me laugh because that character was basically her.
That's what I thought.
It was really her in real life. So the fact that she got lost in it, it's well, you were playing yourself.
Once again, this is her perception in her head, not maybe reality.
Okay.
Okay, number 14. When it came to her sister Jamie Lynn Spears' upbringing and her own, Britney said they were extremely different. Now, there was a story where, she went away for a little while to perform and she came home and her 12-year-old sister or 10-year-old sister was a complete bitch. I don't know any sisters that don't say that about each other. I really don't. Find me one sibling that doesn't say that about their little sister.
Right. I mean, I don't have a sister, but I think just siblings in general.
Yeah.
What do you expect? And if she was what?
Of course
12?
Of course she was the youngest one. She was spoiled. She was still at home with mom. Yeah, it's going to be different.
They do I don't know. I wish I haven't read the book, but I feel like there's a lot more to that relationship with her sister.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Okay, number 15. Justin Timberlake and Britney's famous denim on denim moment was initially suggested as a joke, but then their stylist went with it and they committed. Now she loves that y'all have made this an annual Halloween costume. That was fantastic.
It was fantastic. Look at it.
They look great.
Today's people could never.
16. Speaking of Justin, Britney said that she was so head over heels in love that she chose to ignore that he allegedly cheated on her a couple of times. Okay, everyone cheats on each other in Hollywood. This is nothing new. So 17, Justin cheated, Britney alleges, so she felt at liberty to cheat as well. So did she.
So she did.
And says she later admitted to this to Justin, and they mutually agreed to move forward together. So she kissed her choreographer. That was her form of cheating. I don't know what his form of cheating was, and I don't know if that's completely accurate. They kissed?
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Sounds stable.
18. It was around this time that Britney learned she was pregnant. This is the big one.
Mm-hmm.
A reality she didn't seem to mind because she thought they were headed toward together forever. According to Britney, though, Justin thought they were too young, so she had an abortion, saying, if he didn't want to become a father, I didn't feel like I had much of a choice. Okay, back up, Britney. It is your choice. It takes two people to get an abortion, not just one, for the most part. This is crap to me.
See, I struggle with this, and then there's another piece, I guess, in the book, and again, I've just seen this online, but where she's saying that she spent hours afterwards crying on the floor, and he was trying to calm her down by playing his guitar.
And I got it. Ready? Number 19. Because they opted for a medical abortion, which is you take two pills, which involves taking two pills. Operation Extreme Redundancy done. Okay. That induced heavy cramping and bleeding. The process took a few hours. During this time, Britney remembers being in extreme pain and crying on the bathroom floor. To help, she says Justin brought a guitar into the bathroom and played while she sobbed.
Okay. This is
That's nice of him.
hairy because, okay, how long ago was this? I struggle with this because, to your point, it takes two people to get into this situation. They are adults now. He's married with children. You know, I feel like, do we need to put this in a book for the world to read? That's very personal. I know it's a memoir and that's what you do. But at the same time,
well, I think having an abortion would affect a woman in a specific way. And I feel like it would be something that you would want to talk about if you're talking about your life.
I know, but to put him kind of on blast too.
Well, that's what I don't agree with. I don't even know if it was him and her making the decision. I feel like this was something that would have tanked their careers. Therefore, there were a lot of people
it would have changed
behind.
the whole course of their lives, 100%.
There was a lot of people behind this decision, not just him, and you were also involved in it as well.
If you don't think her father or, you know, whoever was managing her,
you bet,
didn't have a say in that as well. The abortion thing I get, yes, so you're going to want to talk about it, and I think absolutely you should, but don't bring other people then, I guess, and like just talk about you and your feelings about it. I don't know. I feel weird about it.
I feel like she needed to get this one out. There was a specific reason why she went after him.
What do you think?
It's to sell more copies.
Okay, number 19.
All I'm saying is he's got children, and one day they could read this stuff.
They are, yes.
And I know you're in the limelight. That's your job. But I don't know. I feel like it could have been maybe worded a little different. But I haven't read it yet, so I need to go read this first.
Say, Britt, we need to talk. So Justin and number 20, Justin ended their relationship via text, Britney said. Apparently it just said it's over. That was the whole text. And while he was out doing performances and other things, she remained in Louisiana crying her eyes out. She was devastated over this breakup.
I have this while we're on the Justin topic. So it was, of course, people are reading this now. And there was one post I saw, I think it was on Instagram, where it first started out with this clip saying, who's going to be the most hated man? And then it's a clip of Justin Timberlake saying, it's going to be me. And because Britney has a huge fan base. So like, and I was a fan of both of them. So, and I'm living in the past still. So it's hard, and I feel terrible that she went through all of these things. But then I found this other clip that made me chuckle because, to backtrack, they dated. Okay. He was then, I think, either had started or just started his solo career when the breakup was happening. And that's when he came out with Cry Me a River and his whole music video. You don't ever see the woman's face, but literally it was like the same hair, body as Britney.
And hat.
And made you believe. That whole album and his songs at the time when they broke up made you believe that Britney was the one who cheated on him.
It was like a harlot.
Cheated on him and ruined the relationship. When in reality,
it was probably both.
It was probably both. They're young.
Of course.
You know, you got people throwing themselves at you from left and right. So but when you think back now, like, okay, he released this and you really felt like, why did Britney do that? Like, you wanted to blame her. And
well, there was that Diane Sawyer interview that just eviscerated her. Once again, a young girl.
You know, getting drilled about all of this stuff.
Stupid shit.
No, you wouldn't be able to deal with that even in your own personal private life.
I couldn't do it at 39. No. So, I mean.
So there was this clip. Let me start it over. Justin Timberlake, 2006. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
Why do you think that's funny?
Because he's releasing the song, you're like, Team Justin, and then flash forward to 2023, and she's releasing all this dirt on him. Okay, well, that went over Chrissy's head, so...
Once again,
carry on.
There's a specific reason why she's going after him. I think this is a little more deep-rooted than we understand.
Listen, I think this woman has been through hell and back, and I think it's great that she wants to tell her side of the story. You know, she's
Well, she's
naming names.
She's telling
Where does she go from here?
She's going to collect this money.
Another Vegas residency.
She has not had a live performance in front of an audience since 2018.
What do you mean? She's got that Instagram account where she dances with knives.
But not in front of people, in front of her dogs.
No, that's in front of people. People love it.
No, I mean like a live audience.
I know. I'm just being an asshole. All right, number 21. Following the breakup, Britney returned home to check in on things. As she said she had learned her sister Jamie Lynn had become a total bitch. Once again, show me two sisters that haven't had a brawl.
We obviously need more context on that.
All right, we'll skip that one. Number 22. Justin Timberlake's song Cry Me a River came out in 2002. Came out in 2002. And if you've somehow not seen the video, it features a woman who looks exactly like Britney cheating on him and breaking his heart. After its release, Britney said she was booed at everywhere she went. And she grew annoyed that he was praised for seemingly getting revenge while she was being slut-shamed despite him having cheated as well. You know, the guy always comes out on top, guys. Like, it happens in today's society.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a single woman and you go date a married man, guess who gets crucified? You do, the single woman, not the married man. He'll go to therapy and
say I'm sorry,
and you know things will go back to their lovey-dovey life, and then you're the slut who slept with the married man.
That's
little sidetrack for you. 23. Britney said that the one good thing to come out of Justin speaking to the press about the relationship was him finally disclosing that they had
so
sex.
she could get rid of that whole cloud of being a virgin.
24, newfound confidence in tow. Britney says she was the one to initiate the kiss between her and Madonna. Originally, the choreographer had planned for the two stars to kiss the air between them, which I would have preferred them to do. Well, but after being inspired by the way Madonna wore her sexuality without fear, Britney decided to go for it. I thought this was so awkward and weird.
Wasn't Christina also
I don't know.
Performing with them, or was it just them two?
Just them two.
Oh, you're right. They had that song.
I thought this was. I found it like, ugh, really? This is where we gotta
go?
Much.
It's too much.
Britney said that she felt forced by her team to do the widely watched interview with Diane Sawyer, and exploited during a time when she would have been healing following a public breakup and harsh reaction from the public.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how many of these are there? Holy crap, we're not going through all of these. Let's go to the higher ones, the better ones. Let's see. Red flags about her family's involvement in her personal decisions started popping up for Britney when she took a trip with her friends to Vegas. That's when she married that guy, and then they got annulled. So that's when her parents were like, you're not making great decisions, so we're going to step in. During her marriage to Kevin Federline, she said that he had grown in fame. She watched it ruin him, and ever since their divorce, she doesn't believe she's ever truly trusted anyone. That was a weird relationship.
It was so weird, and now she's got kids with him. And
well, he's the one taking care of the kids. He just moved to Hawaii too.
Yeah.
Let's see. After giving birth to her two sons, Britney fell into postpartum depression. You know, she felt like every move she made was a headline, and any normal mistake that new mothers are usually given grace for would instead earn her the label of a bad mom. That's an interesting perspective.
She's so in the public eye that they do watch your every move. And it's unfortunate that the press and paparazzi is like that. Who wants to live that way? Mm-hmm. Isn't that also, didn't she put her son on her lap when she was driving?
I don't think so. Probably.
I mean,
what's worse, that or Michael Jackson hanging his kid over the balcony?
His son Blanket?
His son Blanket.
He had him. He had a tight grip.
Oh, my God. All right. Number 29. Britney cut her hair in 2007 as a big FU to the world after years of men, the media, her family, and the public over-sexualizing her. Here we go. Speaking hypocritically of her, patronizing her, acting like she was evil, and holding a microscope to her life. Shaving her head felt like almost religious, she said. Not how I would choose to honor my God, but after Britney was placed under the conservatorship, which is designed to transfer decision-making to a person's appointed guardian, in this case her father, after courts decide they are incapable of making these decisions for themselves, Britney said her father looked at her and said, "I'm Britney Spears now."
Okay,
so let's just end with this one. In 2000, this is interesting. In 2017, Britney won Radio Disney's first ever Icon Award. and Jamie Lynn performed a medley of Britney's songs in her honor.
Yikes.
Since then, it's been speculated that Britney's seemingly strained smile throughout the performance may have been due to troubles between the siblings. Instead, Britney clarified in her memoir that she had been pushing for the ability to perform a medley during her Vegas residency, but was told no again and again. So it was bittersweet to watch her sister be able to do the same thing with her music that she wasn't allowed to do.
So, have you heard Jamie Lynn sing before? Because
what can you name a song she sings?
No, but I feel like have seen clips. Pull one up.
Wait, let's Spotify her.
And
Jamie? I'm guessing
that's a weird move.
I'm guessing you are saying she's not a great singer.
She's not, and I don't think she's a good actress either. She's painful to watch.
She's in the shadow of her sister. Okay, all right, let's listen.
So it's just auto-tune.
It's just. I mean, she sounds like every other pop girl out there.
I just think that's strange.
Isn't she on a series on Netflix?
Yeah, she's part of the Sweet Magnolias or whatever show, and she's the worst character on that show, in my opinion. Yeah. I can't. She's just painful to watch.
So she also says the hashtag Free Britney movement was life-saving. She felt like she had no one in her corner, no one to support her except her fans, and they were the ones that stood up for her.
They did.
So, and now she's out of the conservatorship, dancing with knives. Hashtag Free Britney.
Free Brit.
Everyone will always hold a place in their hearts for Britney Spears.
She was, especially our generation, like she was the it girl.
She was it. She was like the most popular girl.
She had the best, and her songs were great. No, did she have is she a Celine Dion? Okay, no, but her songs were great. She had great songs. You could dance to them.
She was an amazing performer.
Her dancing, like she was awesome. She was awesome. So yes, you do have like a little tender spot for the Britney that we all knew. I personally think it's been really sad to watch her like on this decline. And even now, like she got free from her conservatorship, and you're like, yes, you're hoping for the best for her. She got married to Sam, whatever his name is, and then they got divorced shortly after, and she's got these weird Instagram posts of her either just in the
I almost don't
camera
I don't think it's a decline. I think this is a woman who has had trouble growing up mentally and is finding herself right now. And this is kind of what we're getting. In 10 years, let's talk about if it's a decline, because she'll either be in an asylum or not. I mean,
I don't think you'll need to wait 10 years.
I don't think so either. I feel, you know what I wish for? I wish she would just take her money and go live on a beach somewhere kind of secluded and just like be at peace.
Well, when you've had somebody control every aspect of your life, your entire life, what do you think comes out of that? Once she's on her own right now, so she's figuring it out, and it's really entertaining to watch.
She did right. She has the freedom to do what I want to do, has given me back my womanhood. In my 40s, I'm trying things for what feels like the first time. I feel like the woman in me was pushed down for so long. There's been a lot of speculation about how I'm doing, she writes. I know my fans care. I am free now. I am just being myself and trying to heal.
Yeah, and I think that she's a quirky individual, like super duper quirky.
That's fine. I think
she's not murdering anyone. She's not doing any mass shootings. I mean, she's just an entertainer that is entertaining.
And she still gets that attention. She still gets that public attention because she's got millions of fans who do watch her every post that she puts out there, every comment. So she still has that traction and attention. So I feel like the stuff she puts out, you're still going to get blown up about it.
I mean, it still is. I mean, the only thing that is going to get in her way is the fact that she doesn't have a support system. She has a father that wants to control her, maybe for reasons that were plausible. She has men in her life that will come in, and once again, there's always like a piece of her, like they will always take advantage. So if she could stand on her own 2 feet, and I don't know if she knows how to do that, I think that she could get back into performing and do what she always did, and that would help her. But I don't see the support system she needs ever being there, because she's always being used in some way, shape, or form. And I think she's more aware of it now.
Well, I'm hoping that she'll fall under the category of a survivor.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? I mean, this is a woman who's probably lived 3 lifetimes when compared to most normal folks. And you got to give her credit. She's still here, and you hope she doesn't end up tragically like a lot of other performers who started young and had all this attention thrown at them. And you just want to say at the end of the day, Britney Spears, she was a survivor. She got through all of it.
Yeah.
And she lived a long life, and
she's a fighter for sure.
Thanks, AJ, bringing up the lighter end.
Well, when I was doing some research on Britney Spears, you just go to YouTube, pull up some videos. I don't know how I stumbled onto it, but there's her performing with Michael Jackson at Madison Square Garden. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I mean,
The Way You Make Me Feel.
Oh, it was a whole medley. I mean,
I didn't like that performance.
That Madison Square Garden performance where she really did what Britney Spears was she just strutted the stage.
She just walked around.
The vocals were just okay, but performing with somebody like Michael Jackson at Madison Square, I think that's where it was. It was electrifying.
I found it creepy.
But she did what she did when she was big. She just strutted on the stage, and he was following her around.
You got these 2 huge pop superstars.
But it was so unbelievable to me to be like, he wanted her. Like, I just
that
feels like an attack on MJ, and I don't appreciate it.
Oh God, here we go.
Okay, yes. Did he look a little scary?
But to try to believe that Michael Jackson like wanted this woman was so gross and eerie to me. Michael Jackson was like asexual in my opinion.
But the video, his music video, was him going after a girl. So who would be okay for that part?
He was younger and looked normal.
Who would be good for that part?
He looked like a female.
Nancy
he
Pelosi.
looked like a male. Anyway, the last time you said something nasty about a politician, they ended up kicking the bucket. So
I know.
All right, to end our episode, what is your favorite Britney Spears song?
Oh, that's hard.
Pick one, girl. How about you, AJ? What was your favorite Britney Spears? Joel, do you have a favorite Britney Spears song?
I love Oops, I Did It Again.
Okay.
I love Crazy.
One.
I can't name one. What's yours?
Drive Me Crazy. I know, that's great. I love that. I love the music video. I love the outfit in the music video. I love the dance. I just Drive Me Crazy. Hands down my favorite.
I do love I'm a Slave for You, too. I can't pick one.
All right.
Those are my top 3.
All right, we won't
I got down to 3.
We won't back you into a corner. All right, guys. There it is. Britney Spears, political updates, and what else did we talk about today? The cornucopia stuff.
Yes.
All right.
This little smorgasbord.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, guys. See you next time.
Bye.